Well, it's getting closer and closer. The NFL draft set for April 24th. Not too far off in the future now. And to talk about the NFL draft, to take a further look at this, we bring in our NFL draft expert, our NFL expert here at KSL Sports, Stevenson Sylvester. Sly, we had fun talking about it last week about some of our locals that potentially could go to the NFL. Now we're going to shift to our two biggest schools out here and focus on what BYU is bringing to the draft table. First, we want to start off with their defensive line. Tyler Batty's a guy who's been solid. He's been a guy whose name has come up in potential drafts in the past. He played out his career at BYU. Now he's looking at a potential career in the NFL.
Yeah, Tyler Batty has been a consistent force, a name. When you talk about BYU, you're saying Tyler Batty's name in the last few years. Big playmaking ability, especially this past year when BYU was just a turnover force, right? Every single game, it felt like he was in the mix, either causing turnovers or causing pressures to make turnovers happen. He's just a force, and I just love his personality, right? He's got a big Max Crosby personality, but with a Trey Hendricks type of motor. This guy just gets it done, and so I think he's going to be a good fit on a lot of teams here.
He's pretty fiery, too, and I mean, you see the numbers there that he put up at the Combine and the stats that he put up over the past few years. As a defensive end, as a guy who's trying to get to the quarterback, what's his biggest strength that you see that could help him at the NFL level?
That he doesn't stop. The motor aspect, right? It's what Trey Hendrickson, I think, prides himself on, right? And when you get sacks, right, you're like, look, if you get 20 sacks in a year in the NFL, that's a good year, right? How many plays a game is that, right? So that's essentially 1.5 sacks a game, and you can do that. And you can find opportunities. One play a game, I could get a sack, and you have a great year. I think that he does that. As I said, he's good with his hands. He's making that happen on the edge, and then he can even transfer inside and make that happen. But again, his relentless motor, this guy tracks the ball down, whether the ball's going away from him or to him. He does a great job of understanding the defensive scheme, whether it's for him and he needs to spill it to a safety, or he's making the play in the passing game. He's an every down type of defensive end, which I like.
And that's one of those things that doesn't show up on a stat sheet. You know, for the BYU fans or the football fans out there say that maybe he underperformed over the past few years. Those are the things that NFL scouts will be noticing. So now we want to put the tough question to you, Tyler Batty, to you, Sly. Tyler Batty's draft grade here. We have his draft card as a 6th round draft card. Now, if you're in the card shop and you're looking to spend some money, do you buy Tyler Batty's card in the 6th round?
Here's my thing. If I'm an NFL guy, I'm buying this, right? Tyler Batty is a guy that can come in right now. He's a mature guy that can understand the system and be a factor, a leader as a young guy early on. And this is why I don't know what people are doing when they are giving these grades, but he's a factor in a team. And I see him in a 3-4 scheme. I actually would like him with the Steelers. He's a Brett Kiesel type of guy. He reminds me of Brett Kiesel. And in that defensive scheme, I know that scheme well, and he would fit great at the defensive end position in a 3-4 scheme.
Okay, 6th round could be a bargain then for Tyler Batty. Let's take a look at a couple of other Cougars whose names will certainly pop up around the 3rd day of the NFL draft. Caleb Etienne on the offensive line, a guy who transferred into BYU, had his struggles his junior year, but last year he really shined on their offensive front. We have him as a 7th round grade. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. He's a big body. I think, him pairing with Kingsley Suamataia last year helped his confidence and understand, okay, I can do this. I would buy this card. He's a day 3 guy. I do get that. There's some things that he can learn. But from that offensive line position, you need big bodies that are able to be adjusting and versatile offensive linemen. I think he could play multiple positions, and that's where Etienne is definitely going to find his spot in the NFL.
Okay, let's shift over to BYU's secondary. Jacob Robinson, he's been a ball hawk the last few years at BYU, 11 picks in his 4-year career with the Cougars. We also have him graded as a 7th round draft card. Is this a card you would buy in the 7th round?
Yes, I'd buy it. I'm higher on Jacob Robinson, but I can see exactly where the draft end. I'm high on him because I see him as a nickel. And so most cornerbacks are looked at as left or right corners, and then they transfer in the nickel. But if you watch McDuffie with the Kansas City Chiefs, That's Jacob Robinson, absolute playmaker, dynamic. He can move to the outside if you want him to, but he's the guy that you got a dynamic player in the slot. You put him on. He understands leverage, understands where his helps are at, and he makes plays all the time. The last few years, he's been making opportunistic turnovers to get your defense and your whole team in better position. He's the type of guy you want to bet on. So, yes, I would actually pick him up a little sooner, but I'm looking at it at the nickel position so I can see the grade. But, yes, I definitely buy in this card.